guys, thanks for tuning in. This is optibotimus coming with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers 4 Age of Extinction Deluxe class, Crosshairs. And taking a look at the packaging first, as I said in my previous Age of Extinction reviews, these figures were acquired from a Canadian seller. So the packaging might be a little bit different looking than what we get here in the United States. But it's still nice nonetheless. Biggest difference you're seeing the trilingual bits on here, like down here and around the back you've got French and Spanish for the bio. But very nice Transformers logo there. You got the Transformers 4 Age of Extinction logo up there. Really cool CGI image of Crosshairs. And you can really see a clearer look at the more humanoid looking faces that a lot of these new Transformers are going for. Come around here to the side and you can see that it's part of the Transformers Generation line. So this is part of Hasbro's line that's specifically designed for us adult collectors. Come around here to the back, you got a couple other figures such as Bumblebee and Scorn. And you also have an image of Crosshairs in his robot mode with his sidearm blasters and his new Corvette mode, which is a slightly more modified looking Corvette with the spoiler here in the back. But come up to the top and it says, this Autobot paratrooper has a knack for catching his enemies by surprise, either by dropping in from above or with a lightning fast draw of his sidearm blasters. And you can see that he does have a fairly simple transformation. It's only 13 steps. I do like that. One thing that I've noticed is that they're not doing the different grades. Like this isn't a level 2 transformation or a level 3 transformation, because that doesn't really explain too much. I do like how they're doing this instead, where they're telling you how many steps it has, because that gives a much more, I guess, view as how difficult the transformation is going to be. But beyond that, that's about it for the packaging. So without further ado, let's get him open and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Crosshairs opened up and out of its packaging. And as you can see, he is a kind of a squat looking Corvette. At least one of the new modern Corvettes. But it does look a little squat, doesn't it? It looks like, and then it's, because it's squished in, it looks like it's fatter. So it's kind of strange. He does have a spoiler here in the back. One thing that people are going to automatically notice and complain about is you got these really nice black stripes here and then going on the back. That looks great. That's the way that it actually looks in the movie, and all the images and stuff that we've seen of Crosshairs in vehicle mode looks like that. But he also has them on both sides. This toy doesn't. So it's really very, very lazy. I have no idea. I can't even begin to make an excuse for this. I mean, I really cannot for the life of me imagine why they would do it on one side, come around here. I mean, this is all painted on there. So I can't imagine why they couldn't have done it on this side as well. That's really very unfortunate. It's not like they only got pictures of the toy or the car from this angle. I'm pretty sure they would have seen it from all angles, but that's probably the most unfortunate thing. Now, there's a lot of paint that is on here. Most of like all this back here, this is all clear plastic that's painted black, and it's a very nice shiny plastic. I really like the silver painted rims. I mean, they even go into the brake pads in there and they're painted. I mean, so there's a lot of nice painted detail. It's just it doesn't make sense why they didn't continue it on. You can sort of see that there is a Corvette logo there on the front, coming in so that you can see that. There it is molded on the side. And then right up in there, you also have the Stingray logo, which is really hard to see, but it is in there. You got the Autobot logo there. You also have that Stingray logo on the other side as well. Come on in here at the back, and it's very hard to see, but right there, it does say Corvette. And you can see where it's raised, and then you have the Corvette logo right there as well. So a lot of nice detail in it, in terms of molded detail, but the paint just really does drag on this. It's a nice looking car, don't get me wrong. It's just really missing that entire paint scheme there. The other thing is he's got headlights here, but because it's all green plastic or green paint, the clear of the headlight just shows through and shows the green. Now you could probably actually paint those, which I might actually do. Just use a silver Sharpie or something, paint it on the inside. But overall, I mean, it is a nice looking vehicle. I mean, you can see that is a deluxe size. And I really do like it. I don't think that there's an excuse for that, but from this side, it's a cool looking car. Now, the transformation for the guy is actually fairly simple to do, despite the fact that the instructions are absolutely terrible, and there's actually a couple things that it leaves out, which makes it a lot easier to transform. So first, on the bottom here, you do have weapon storage for him. Just go ahead and take this out. It just pegs in on the sides of his knees, so take that, put that off to the side. Then you come around here, and then you unpeg it from the back of the front wheel, these little side panels here. Just peg in, kind of loosen those up, just get them out of the way. Then come around here to the back section, you want to lift this, kind of wiggle this a little bit, separate everything, wiggle this, and then bring this up just like so. Come around here to the bottom, kind of angle these arms out, then you want to take this and then it straightens out just like that. Do that on both sides, just angle them out. Then the side panel right here, which is part of this fender that goes over the headlight, just take this, loosen that up, pull it away from the body. Do that on this side as well. Then take this whole section here, loosen this, and flop this back. Now, the instructions don't even tell you about this, but there's a whole nother hinge that's inside here that when you pull it back, makes things a whole lot easier. It was stuck here for the longest time, and I didn't even know that it moved. And then once that came back, I was like, ooh, that's so much nicer. So straighten out these legs. You're going to bring this down. You have his heel. Fold this out just like that. Rotate that all the way down, rotate his leg, do that on this side as well, fold that out, rotate that around, straighten his legs all the way out. Then you on the inside here of these side panels are his little rubber bits, fold these out, and then they just flop here. They actually tab in, there's slots here and here that these little nubs, or you can't even see it, that little bit slots into. I don't like doing it because it's rubber and it makes me feel nervous that it's going to rip at some point in time. Fold this back, straighten all this junk, get that situated, take these tires here, fold these back, fold that back, and here you have him in his robot mode. Now, he is weird. It's supposed to, I mean, we've seen the trailer for it. He's got this trench coat thing going, which is what this is supposed to replicate. It looks good on screen. The problem, though, is it doesn't translate well in terms of a hard plastic toy. It literally looks just like a shell former. I mean, there's his car put back together. I mean, that's the back of his car, essentially. So I don't think it necessarily works. I think they did a good job with what they had, but it's not very good at all. Now, there's a lot of really great detail on them that you lose because of the lack of paint. This entire back section, this is all a clear plastic. I'm trying to look to see what color I think this is green. The top section's green, but it's painted black. This is all clear, but this is painted green. These side panels here are also the clear, but painted green. So you gotta, I mean, there's a lot of paint on here, and it just lacks in other areas. For example, his face sculpt, which I think looks pretty cool. Coming in to see that, I mean, that's a pretty cool looking face sculpt. And really interesting, too. I mean, you can see a lot of good detail and stuff in there. You got some nice light piping. The goggles that he wears are actually supposed to be painted in a old-fashioned 3D sort of thing, but that obviously doesn't have it. So you can see a lot of lines and stuff. I really dig the face sculpt on here. It's just, you lose a lot of it because it's just a flat silver paint. The silver's nice on it, but there's so much more that could be done with this. And all these panels here just get in the way of things. Now, for his articulation, the head is on a very limited, I think, ball joint. These side panels here, you really only get it looking left like that and like that, not even up and down. The shoulders here, there's a lot of junk, so you're gonna bump into things. You do got I think that's a ball joint in there. It's hard to tell. It does rotate at the upper part of the elbow. He's got upper part of the bicep. He's got an elbow joint. The wrists do rotate, but it's really tough to get in there because this whole side panel here and that's kind of ugly in of itself. He doesn't rotate at the waist or anything, but the hips here are on some nice pin joints. They move forward, back, in and out. Bends at the knee, very nice bend there at the knee. And then for some weird reason, his ankles move even further like this. I have no idea what the purpose of that is. I mean, you can move it independently by itself there. I don't understand why you need to have that whole separate bit. It's kind of strange. Now, these bits right here, this is articulated. It does lock down, and then you can pop it out like that. I mean, you can leave it in close if you want to, but again, the closer that you leave it in, the more than it hinders things. These bits right here, they will move forward and back, as you can see, and then they're also on a swivel that goes in and out. So you got that motion and then that motion. So there is some posability there with it to get, I guess, more dynamic poses, but these things here look really ugly. And honestly, for me, the best thing that I like doing is keeping them tucked up under as if they're not even there. It's going to give you a little bit more range of motion. It cleans things up a little bit more, and you can actually get a little bit more posability with these back things, and it doesn't look as bad, I don't think. It's still a kind of clunky, fiddly figure. I really feel that this is probably the weakest of the deluxes that we've gotten so far. He's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, we have gotten worse figures. He's just the weakest of the new ones that we've gotten. Now, he does come with this really nice handgun. He also has got two other handguns that they store up underneath here, but the instructions don't even show you this. You got a peg that's up there that you can peg that in, but I'm just going to leave it there so it keeps it hidden. I mean, it's a good looking figure for what it is, but I really think, like I said, that their biggest problem was they were trying to recreate something that had a much more fluid motion in the CGI and things of that nature, and that doesn't translate well here in plastic form. There's just too much stuff getting in the way of them. But I mean, it's not bad. It really isn't. I'm making it sound a lot worse. It's just, it could be better, I really feel. I know a lot of people really like the way that he looks, especially for his car mode. If that's you, I think that you're going to love this figure regardless. I don't think that it's going to really hinder your decision or anything. And I'm just trying to fiddle with the motion back here to kind of get these in a little bit better of a position. Like I said, you got a joint moving this way and then one moving this way that kind of screws things up a little bit. But I mean, it is what it is. I really do think that this is a figure that at some point in time we may get a better representation of, especially if he has a fairly prominent role in the movie. But as I said, he is probably the weakest of the new deluxe figures. Now, the transformation form is again fairly easy once you realize that this whole back section comes back or slides back, because when you're trying to get these lined up and tucked back in, it's a bit of a pain in the butt. And when I discovered that could move back, it actually made me like the figure a lot more, because I couldn't get these little rubber bits to lay down flush for his transformation. It was really extremely annoying. So first, what we're going to do, just straighten out his head, bring the arms down, then they bend at one extra joint here, and just like so. It's at the lower joint there, not at the upper one. There's two different places that he's rotating, one at the upper section, one at the lower. You want to get it where it bends, and you'll feel it click at that lower section there. Come around here, bring these wheels in just like so. Come around here to the feet. You can rotate these at the knee, bring them up, tuck that heel up and in. Do that on this side as well. Fold that down, bring that. You get that around like that. But so see, it still doesn't make any sense why these would rotate out. It's really strange that they even do that. Just bring them together and then take this whole section. You're going to fold this down, line that up, push that in just like so. Bring this, make sure that you've got these rubber sections tucked in on the inside. Again, get these arms lifted up just to get them out of the way. Bring these bits over, tab those down just like so. Then you're going to bring these shoulder bits up. Do that on this side as well. Lines up along the side here, kind of keep these down. Line that up along the side, bring that in. Get the tab section to line up here. And this is where it gets a little bit of a pain to sort of do. You have to really make sure that you have everything just properly lined up. Give everything a nice little squeeze. Get it in there. This one here, oh well, the little rubber bit there is kind of getting in the way. Get that lined up. Get that nice and squeezed together. Then bring this whole section back. Line that down. Make sure you squeeze everything so that everything is properly lined up. And then again, like I said, you got the two little holes on the inside of his knees. You got one there, one there. You can put it either way you want. So sticking that in there. Here you have Crosshairs, though, back in his vehicle mode. Now, like I said, Crosshairs is a really cool looking vehicle mode. And as you can see, I did go ahead and paint the headlights, and that just looks almost immeasurably better. So the biggest drawback with this figure in its vehicle mode would probably be the lack of paint applications. There's a lot that's painted on them. And I don't know for the life of me why they didn't decide to just use the plastic in that color. You could have saved the paint apps for something else, like these headlights. I mean, look at that, much better. But there is just a lot that's really meh about this figure. The vehicle mode, while mold-wise looks terrific, he really falls short when it comes to a lot of the paint details. I mean, you look at the fact that he's not symmetrical, he doesn't have the same striping on both sides, that really hurts. And it really makes the vehicle mode look pretty bad. His transformation, there's a lot of stuff that's just constantly bumping into each other. And it gets kind of tedious, and it's not very fun to transform. And that's pretty much the same in his robot mode. I find myself constantly fiddling with that backpack thing, try to make it look as good as possible, but nothing I seem to do seems to make it look good. I do believe that they did the best that they possibly could trying to replicate a cape or a trench coat sort of flow, but it just really fell short, I think. This is definitely a figure that, unless you really like the character, I would probably pass on it. Unless you're some kind of completionist and you have to have them all, then naturally you're going to want to get this. I do hope at some point in time we get maybe like a Human Alliance figure that would expand upon this and give us a little bit more accurate and a more fun figure. Because this guy really isn't all that fun. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So, once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Keep in touch with me. Find out recent purchases as well as all upcoming video reviews all at facebook.com/teambotimus. And by following me over on Twitter at twitter.com/optibotimus. Also, don't forget to check out my new website at optibotimusreviews.com. And if you like this review, please rate, subscribe, and share this video. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.